Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about the one, the only Bitcoin. We also will be diving into other coins just for a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is something big that I overlooked when it came to Bitcoin, mainly because I never dive into Bitcoin futures. However, this is still a relevant problem because it is connected with Bitcoin itself. The thing that I am talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the gap, the CME futures gap. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that over here, right, on Friday, or even if we're going to hourly, Friday we closed over here, and Sunday we ended up over here. Now, you may be thinking, well, isn't that how it's supposed to be? No, the markets were open, yada, yada, yada. And I mean, for futures, yes, the market opened. However, when we go to something like Bitcoin itself, it is a system, it is something, it is a market that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. So for normal trading, everything just happened when it happened. It started to pump, pump, pump. But when futures opened, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that the gap opened somewhere roughly around $94,500. Okay. Now we have to talk about this because this will influence the price of Bitcoin. Does it influence the long-term goal? No, not really. It is just an annoying bump in the road, just to put it that way. Other than that, there's no real issues, right? If we go back, we can even see that there have been some future gaps before, and they have got all pretty much covered up, right? I don't see any gaps at the top. This is probably the last relevant one. It got filled up. Then we had a gap over here. It got filled up. So, not too many gaps, but ladies and gentlemen, there is another gap somewhere down here, roughly at $77,000, roughly at $78,000. Right here, we're going to put the line. If we go down further, we can see, not too many gaps. This is technically a gap, but I don't think we will be filling up the gap this time around. Also, sometimes it's also trading view that goes a little crazy. That is the problem with some of these gaps, is that trading view sometimes goes a little crazy. So they're not actually real or existing. It's just simply trading view being trading view. Okay. So that is the thing that we have to look at. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, although historically gaps have always been looking to be closed and filled, I've seen on the SPX 500 before, very, very low from like 20, 30 years ago, there's a gap over there, and it just got ignored. It doesn't have to get filled, right? It doesn't have to, but if it's a very big relevant gap, it most likely will. So the two relevant gaps we have, ladies and gentlemen, are pretty much this one over here, right? We can see the one sitting roughly at 85,000, and that is 85,000 on futures, which is not the same on BTC. It's actually a little bit lower by a couple $100. We can see we're pretty much at $87,000 here, but when we go over here, we're at $87,400. So this chart, right? This chart, we do have to pretty much do minus 400 for this one. This is the real-time price, right? This is the real-time price. I did see the gap, and the gap is somewhere roughly here, ladies and gentlemen. It is somewhere roughly here, right? So the gap is around $84,200 for the normal Bitcoin chart, which I believe, we will get this one filled at the minimum. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there is also a decent chance that we may get this one filled back at 77,900. Like I said, which is going to be around $77,500, which we didn't hit. Unfortunately, we're just a couple $100 away. So there is a chance that we could go back over here to fill these gaps. Now, we do have to pay attention to the markets. I do believe that this gap, the red line, the first red line that I did mark up, right? Let me just make this less confusing for everyone, right? Pretty much this, and then pretty much the second red line is going to be here, right? So look, the first red line is pretty much inevitable that it will get filled. The second red line doesn't have to happen, as we've seen in the past, price has ignored certain gaps. So we will be monitoring everything, to see how it goes. But just stay prepared, right? Because this does influence obviously the price and our altcoins. Some may debate that this was the retest over here, which I do believe is true. There was going to be some kind of retest sooner than later. And I did talk about how this was going to be a retest overall. And we are selling off, but we're not selling off because of, this or that. We're just selling off simply because the gap has to get filled. So I will be monitoring everything at 84,200. If we hold and we flip, right? If we flip and then we continue to go to the upside, something like this, and we start going closing above 95,000, then this whole gap is going to be invalidated. This one over here will be invalidated until next cycle. Okay. I do not see, Bitcoin coming back above this price, turning it bullish, doing what it has to do to then eventually come back down like this. For me, it would be very unorthodox. It would take way too long. The timings would be messed up, and it just wouldn't be proper fundamental structure. That's just how it is. Okay. So, we could be potentially seeing a bigger drop. If that is the case, I will be personally buying. Bitcoin dropping 12% means most altcoins will also drop 12%. We can see lots of altcoins dropped a good amount today. That is because Bitcoin dropped, but also because Bitcoin dominance, ladies and gentlemen, is going back up. And we talked about how this is a double negative when it comes to our altcoins. When Bitcoin dominance shoots up and Bitcoin goes down, our altcoins will bleed heavy. If Bitcoin goes down and Bitcoin dominance goes down, our altcoins won't bleed nearly as much. So, you know, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty much it, right? We could cover some coins, but every single coin is going to get affected by this, right? If we go to render is going to get affected by this. Even if we were to drop 12 to 15%, let's say something light, we could see it go back down to 320s. Same thing with Myro. Anything will get affected by this. Unfortunately, it's very, very annoying. The timing of it. If this didn't happen from Friday to Sunday and it just happened on, let's say, Monday, we would have had the pump. We would have had no issues, ladies and gentlemen. So remember, get ready. There will be a correction. Do not panic. Do not worry. I personally have some buy limits ready. Well, I will first look at the markets to see how they are. If they are consolidating and we break structure in a lower time frame, I will enter because we do have lots of imbalance. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, right, this has dropped off so quickly that once we do start correcting the price, we will be filling up to these areas very, very quickly due to the imbalance. So just as fast as we went up, we're coming back down, and we would just go up just as fast in the very near future. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.